Hello and welcome back to the Wolves Vavel YouTube channel again with me, Ben Durber, and we've got Edward Hague-Saunders joining us for the post-match reaction to Wolverhampton Wanderers' disappointing 2-0 defeat home to Southampton. On reflection, Ed, it was a poor performance and we've deservedly got knocked out of the FA Cup.
100%. It was a terrible performance. Probably one of the most lacklustre performances I think we've seen from Wolves all season. There was no intent. There was no urgency in the midfield. There was nothing in it. To go up against a team that have conceded 16 goals in the last 4 games and have one shot on target is atrocious. The shot on target was well worked. It was nice, but to only have one shot on target is atrocious. And at the minute with Wolves, it seems like it's one step forward, 2 steps back, not even 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It just seems like we're going backwards at the minute. You know, we came off a good result against Arsenal and a good performance against Leicester. And I said in the preview, if you haven't seen that, go and check the channel. If you haven't seen that, I said in the preview, it was about the performance against Leicester. It was a good point, but it was about the performance and we played well. And we've gone to this against Southampton. It's a terrible performance. There was just no urgency there. It didn't look like we wanted to win. The team selection from Nuno at the start was a bit weird. It seemed like he was sort of resting. And we said before how important this competition might be for Wolves. He was sort of resting the players, but then again, he brought them on towards the end to try and win the game. So it was clear he wasn't protecting any of the players. It was just a strange team selection. Oh, sorry. Strange team selection and, yeah, just an awful performance from Wolves.
You spoke before the game of how you wanted to see a strong team and you expected to see that. You expected to see the likes of Traore, maybe not Pedro Neto, but you'd expect to see Traore, a strong midfield, and also you mentioned about a strong defensive formation as well. We weren't expecting that many changes due to the league status. So what reasoning can you put down to Nuno going with the team selection he had? Obviously, he played Vitinha, who's been in and out the side. He's someone that we've been speaking about a lot. We've said that he should be playing maybe in like the number 10 role, but he was out on the wing today. Morgan Gibbs-White is out of favour, and he's not done much again today. What can you put down this team, like you say, in your own words, this odd, weird team selection down to?
I don't know. I think, as you said rightly, I think before the game we were expecting a strong side like we saw at Palace in the Cup. When we knocked Palace out, we had Traore playing. We had Fabio Silva playing, who, played again today, but he was the first team striker. So it's obvious that Nuno's not too worried about putting first team players in the Cup game. I just don't know why we saw like 6 changes. If we win the game, 6 changes is good because then we got Neto, Traore, Willian Jose having a rest. But if you lose the game with that type of team, it just doesn't look good. I think Glenn Hoddle said it on BT. It's a strange performance. It's a strange team that looked like Wolves didn't want to win the game. Southampton put a team out that looked like they wanted to win the game, whereas Wolves put a team out that looked as if they wanted to rest their main players and protect them. And I don't know what to put it down to at all. It's just it's an odd team selection and a terrible performance on the pitch with no urgency and nothing in the final third at all until Pedro Neto came on, and he was the only one that looked today like he was going to make something happen. And he was on the pitch for 20 minutes, and he was our main contributor to our shot on target and to our attacking play. And I think that sums it up completely. I don't know what's happened. I was expecting Traore to come on and run a tired Ryan Bertrand ragged, but he come on and he just couldn't get hold of the ball. There was poor touches from everyone. I think Traore had one where he was past the ball and his touch sent him back towards the dugout. It was just such an odd and terrible and lacklustre performance from Wolves today. I honestly cannot put my finger on it, but it wasn't good enough.
Before I go on to the mental impacts going forward, because that's something I do want to bring ourselves onto, that chance we speak of about Traore, how important was it that he took that? Because it seemed that after that chance, even see it like as a fan, anyone could see it. I think you were thinking, we're not going to get another one. That was it. That was our one chance. We've not created anything for 70 so minutes, and we've got that out of a bit of brilliant, a bit of great play from Pedro Neto, and found a try at this back post. It's a gilt-edged opportunity, in it? And against in a tight game, which it was still, Southampton didn't batter Wolves. They were the better team, but they weren't all over them for say. But you've got to be taking those kind of chances in a tight clash like this one.
100%. I was on the live today, so I was doing the live for Valve, and I put after 20 minutes, we could have been 2-3-0 down. So we started poorly, and then, as you say, Traore has to take that chance. You can make some excuses up for him that it's come across the box, it's come through a crowd of players, and he might have not seen it properly, but just put your foot through it. Just absolutely hammer it into the net. Don't even give Forster the chance to get back across the goal line and save it with his feet. Just absolutely put your foot through it. And I think that's something that Traore is lacking in confidence. I think if Traore, let's say the Palace game in the FA Cup was the game before this, and he scored that worldie that he scored against Palace. The next game, if he gets that chance, he rifles it into the net. But I think he's just a bit low on confidence, as with, I can't even say the rest of the squad are low on confidence, because we had a good performance against Leicester. This is why this performance, forget the result. The result's a bad performance. The result's a bad result. But the performance is so worrying from this game. And it's going to take, this is why Nuno's getting paid, because he has to put his finger on what went wrong, and a lot went wrong today, and we have to sort it out for the league game, because if we lose this and then we lose the league game, all of that hard work against Arsenal and that performance against Leicester is down the drain, and we're back to where we were this time 2 weeks ago. So it's a huge weekend coming up for us now.
Obviously, you've spoke about the performance there. Forget about results this season for it. Just think back to performances. Is that up there, or is it up there, or is it the worst performance that you've seen from a team performance from Wolverhampton Wanderers this season so far?
I'd say it's definitely up there. I think there's quite a lot to choose from this season. I think the second half against Brighton is up there in terms of a half performance. But I think in terms of a general game, to create one shot on target against a team, as I said, that's conceded 16 goals in their last 4 games. We've had one shot on target. I can't get that through my head.
It wasn't like we had many half chances as well. I know Silva had half a header, but he only just managed to create a few yards, a yard for himself. It was a difficult one for him. But even in the ball, Southampton looked relaxed. They didn't look like there was any trouble. And don't forget, they've had a new centre half in there today.
Yeah, I was about to say that, yeah.
Who, even on commentary, on BBC Sport commentary, they said he was looking a bit nervy in the first couple of minutes. Granted, he's turned out to have a decent game. It never seemed like they got going in the end, did it?
No, well, you say he had a decent game. He was all right, but he looked nervy throughout. I think if you bring Traore on and say, get at that centre-back, he would have crumbled, because it was his first game. He made a few mistakes at the start, could have given away a penalty against Gibbs White. He was shaky. And if you say to Traore, get at that centre-back, Traore would have had him on toast, but we just didn't. We didn't exploit them. We were too slow. We didn't exploit them. We didn't exploit any of their areas where they were weak or vulnerable. We were just too passive, too slow. I thought we didn't get Willian Jose involved at all, like when he was on. I think I can remember him having 2 touches or something like that. He didn't get on the ball. And I think that's one of the reasons why we struggled. I think Fabio Silva again showed that he's not quite ready. I think he tried, but he didn't have the nous and didn't have the experience to take up certain positions. But yeah, as you say, we were just poor. We were just poor today. And I think, to answer your original question, I'd say that is the worst overall performance of our season so far. It's just too slow, too lackluster. Didn't look like we wanted to win it from the start. I think Southampton, as I said, Southampton could have been 2-0 up inside the first 20 minutes, and they would have deserved it. because Gineppo had a shot which he scuffed. Armstrong had a shot that he scuffed. Ruddy parried one, which was luckily he was able to pounce on, and it didn't drop to Danny Ings. So we could have been 3-0 down inside half an hour. So yeah, a terrible performance, really.
Just going on to Nuno and the tactics for a second, he chose to go for a three at the back. Obviously, like we say, a rotational three at back. But let's just concentrate on the system for a minute. Obviously, performed very well against Leicester in that formation, but it is Leicester City, one of the best teams in England right now, obviously towards the top of the Premier League. And obviously, a four at the back in the end worked against Arsenal. Would four at the back maybe have been an option today, considering the opponent we were playing and them lacking confidence?
I think now you put it like that, I think having time to think about it, and obviously hindsight's a magnificent thing, but having time to think about it and their poor defensive record, I think if we went four at the back today, we could have really got at them, and we could have had an extra man going forward. We could have had Vitinha in that hole, or Gibbs White in that hole in behind the striker in that number 10 role, and I think we could have caused them a lot of trouble. But then again, if we go four at the back and we lose the game, we're saying, why didn't you go three at the back? So it's a hard one. I do sympathise, because it is a hard decision to make. But I think if we had more numbers going forward, we could have got at them a bit more. But I don't think it is even about the formation. I think it's about the intent. I think the intent was there right from the start when we picked a squad of fringe players, or a lot of fringe players in the squad. And I think there was just a lack of intent throughout the whole 90 minutes. We didn't want to put ourselves out there. We didn't want to take a risk and commit men forward, commit the fullbacks forward. I don't think Johnny had another good game, which is probably the only positive to take from this. But Hervé didn't get forward too much until it was too late. Nori didn't get forward anywhere near enough as much as we know he can. So I think we were just not willing to commit ourselves in attack, and then we were poor defensively, even though we weren't committing ourselves forward. So it's just a strange result. Not a strange result, sorry, because they really deserved it. We didn't deserve to go through at all. It's a strange performance, and I don't really know how we analyse it and how we go forward from here, because if we perform like that again on Sunday, we'll get beaten, and then it'll be doom and gloom again.
Well, I'm just going to come on to Sunday very quickly. Obviously, like we said before, it was back-to-back games against Southampton. Not the greatest start, but with them losing this one, but it's a chance for a little bit of redemption now. What kind of mental impact will this result, not just the result, but the overall performance, have on the team and confidence-wise? Because obviously, like I said, the last two games, especially in the second half against Arsenal, and then the entirety of the game against Leicester, unlucky not to earn all 3 points in many respects. We were going into this game with confidence, and it seemed that it was non-existent. So what do the team have to do now going in the next 3 days, going into Sunday's game at St Mary's, which is not an easy place to go for any team, never mind Wolves?
I think it all depends on how we start the game. I said it before the Leicester game. If we start the game well against Southampton, we will do well. We're a team that grows in confidence as the game goes on. I don't know why we tend to start games slowly. We're so unconfident at the start of games, but I don't know really. I think we need to get back on the training pitch and try and get back to the solid defensive shape that we had at Leicester. I think being solid at the back gives confidence to your whole team, just like having a solid keeper behind you gives you confidence to the back three. Having a solid back four or back three behind you gives confidence to the whole side. I think if we start well and show defensive solidarity at St Mary's on Sunday, we'll come through it and we'll be more confident. But if we do concede early, there's a chance for a huge capitulation, and I hope I'm proved wrong. I really do. I hope we go and batter them on Sunday and have a really good performance, but I just can't see it at the minute. I think Leicester, we thought we had turned a corner, but it just now after that, it's just back to where we were. But I really, really hope that Nuno can sit them down, have a big chat, and iron out the problems that we're seeing. Because today we didn't see that many unforced errors, which has been our downfall recently. We just saw a lack of intent and a lack of urgency going forward, which You can't put that down to Raul Jimenez. You cannot put that down to Raul Jimenez. That is down to a mindset, and that is down to having confidence in your own ability to take a man on and beat a man and take a shot and hit the target. You can't put that down to the loss of a striker. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Yeah, very, very true. I think that is a good place to end this post-match thoughts video. If you like. Thank you for joining us once again, Ed. We will be back for a preview of the Southampton game. Obviously, I know 2 Southampton previews in a row. Obviously, League, we'll be analysing a little bit more on that, and we'll have a few more discussions of the aftermath of this defeat as well. But like I say, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching, viewers, and I will see you very, very soon.